And where was I going with that? I lost it. You know, get off into the mind, and that's a good way to lose the flow. The flow is specifically from the heart. I'm always separating heart and mind that way. And I do want to say, I recommend everybody learn about heart math. HEARTMATH, heart math, and they make it one word. Um, it's a phenomenal organization. It's Greg Braden is one of their spokespeople these days, and so that tells you something. And they have the science. They are scientists, and they publish and they have writings and papers and works and studies and so on. And it is the study, the scientific study of the link up between the brain and the heart in the biology, and how your IQ increases measurably by centering in heart. And there's even a technology they have developed, and it's called the M wave, EM for M. And it's a little handheld device, or it's a device that you can work with on your computer, and it works with your brain waves. But anyway, there's science to this, and the way they show and explain it, heart and mind are meant to link up, and they function best that way. But of course, heart has to be the leader. And you know, it's really beautiful in a way that it's so simple that we can now look and say, we know where we went wrong. We know where we got off track. And that was by this total focus on the left brain and on that way of living, doing, thinking, being. And we can look around at the world, at society, at the state of things to see the value and the beauty of that. Okay, enough said. Uh, and so again and again, we find from so many voices the same song: move into heart, learn to live from heart. And it's not a brain dead, mindless way of being, but the mind just isn't in control, and it just can't enter in, and that's maybe the hardest hurdle to leap. It's easy enough, especially if you, I mean, you know, look up NDE on the internet. You will find some fine, wonderful videos of people these days courageously sharing their stories of what happened when they journeyed into the light or into the dark. I mean, some have had some pretty frightening experiences, and they share those as well. But by far, most of them are of a going into the light. It will completely and totally change your understanding of the judgment. Uh, you cannot retain the old religious Christian concept of being judged anymore if you do even a superficial exploration into near-death experiences and find out what happens and see the way these people's lives are changed. Okay, you can't bring film back from heaven and say, here's God, and see, there's the angels, and there's whatever. You can't do that, of course. And so today's mechanistic, particle-oriented science, which is Stone Age, and that's been a part of the plot to keep us back, too. They have difficulty with spirit and spirituality, and they've convinced us it's because it can't be proved, so therefore it doesn't exist. I hope that we are all stepping up out of that poppycock. But one thing that can be looked at is that these people's lives are changed forever. There are a very large number of divorces and breakups in relationships because the person before and after death is not the same anymore. And the changes can be so radical, it's so hard on the partner because whoever it was that's come back to them is so changed that it's like, hey, you know, this isn't the one I married, and you're so different. You know, I don't know if I would have married you. And but their lives are immensely, immeasurably changed. And I think that's hard to measure in current scientific terms, but that's a very reasonable standard of was it just an hallucination or, some neurological or biochemical experience. People that continue to believe that, A, either haven't done the research because there's plenty out there, there's enough that's provable about someone that was dead on the operating table, and when they came back, there's a sock on the window ledge on the 16th floor right over there, and this is the color and all of that. There's enough stuff that comes out of it that's frankly impossible, that the people who still can't see it are too attached to the mind, and they just can't step out of it. They can't disidentify sufficiently to have an open mind and to take a real look. It's very beautiful. It's freeing. You come out of such a study with a level of peace that's amazing, because we've been filled full of scary stories, and they call it religion, a lot of it. There's a lot of good in it, and the good that's in it is in the people. The little people around the world are so freaking beautiful. It's just awe-inspiring. And it's been kind of hard to keep us down. And so at the ground level, religion is and can be beautiful. The way and if your heart calls you into something, whatever it is, don't let your mind second guess you. Don't let your mind overrule it. Follow your heart. And I guess I'm going to quit rambling and call this a video. See you later.